I am Myles David. I am the founder and CEO of DevCore, an agency that's primarily focused on building AI automation and development for organizations that are looking to scale sustainably and fast and really get into the AI footprint. As a lot of people know that AI is really important. It's 2025, so if you're not using AI, nag me. But anyway, I'm not Jack. I haven't raised $250 million, but I do know a lot about development. And I just want to start off with saying something to clear a statement, right? Success with AI isn't about using the best tools. It's not even about being able to replace more people with AI. Success with AI is about flipping the paradigm, shifting and reframing the way that we think about the problems and the fundamentals behind the problems that we're trying to solve. Lewis talks about the agency, most businesses being a sales and marketing agency. All we do is take one problem and solve it. Every day, we're just problem solvers as we try to run our organizations. And so how can we flip our minds to think about things with an AI-first framework? And that's what I want to talk to you guys about here. When we look at something like a bottleneck, and normally we say, okay, we need to hire someone, we need to throw people at it, right? AI asks a different question. What are the decisions getting made? What is the actual pattern here? How can we automate this with AI so that it's more consistent and reliable, right? That's the shift. And once you start doing that, you're going to be seeing huge changes. So the first step in doing this, fire your COO. I'm sorry if you are the COO, but this is the first step in achieving an AI sales organization, right? The role has changed. It's 2025, and all of the repetitive tasks that required coordination and tedious repetitive tasks, AI can do, or AI should be doing. You don't need a big ops team. You need a tech stack. So step 1.5 is let your ops person focus on growth. Here's what everybody's getting wrong about AI. They think it's coming for your job. The first thing that I want to say is if AI can replace your job, you're probably already screwed. Like, what you need to be doing is focusing on the the revenue driving operations in your business, right? Good AI implementation doesn't replace your operations team. It unleashes them. Instead of drowning in admin work, they're focusing on a go-to-market strategy. They're building relationships. They're doing things that make you money. In all truth, those who see AI as a means to replace people are already not going to make it. AI isn't your replacement strategy. It should be your amplification strategy. So the next thing I want to talk about is like the evolving organization of sales, right? Today, some sales or people in a sales organization are spending up to 80% of their time doing manual tasks, updating CRMs, watching email campaigns, maintaining that one Google Sheet that runs probably most of your organization. But AI flips that equation. Operation isn't a separate department anymore. It's embedded inside your sales organization. And the new meta is sales and techs combined to build winning systems. Step 2, automate everything with AI, or at least everything that you can. Almost every repeatable process in sales can be automated with AI. Prospecting, qualifying, follow-ups, investor matching. The key is knowing what to automate, what to keep, and what to throw away. And then obviously what to make human. We need to fundamentally change how we think about the problems. We used to say, we're getting more leads, we need a hire VA to manage them. When we flip the paradigm, we say, what pattern can AI recognize to automatically sort, qualify, and route new leads? We're missing responses from our email marketing. We need an inbox manager. What triggers can automatically categorize and respond to these emails? Leads aren't converting, we need better salespeople. What data points consistently predict our best clients, and how can we identify these patterns earlier? And so, that's the first step in sort of creating this new organization that will be winning in 2025, right? And a lot of you have already started doing this. A lot of people are using Zapier automations or different automation tools and trying to upskill there. But a lot of people make the mistake right here in thinking that they just need to find the best tool for the job. You got an email marketing tool here. You got a CRM tool here. You got a note-taking tool here. You got a meeting tool here. And then what you find yourself with is a bunch of different tools that solve small problems. Now, if you absolutely have no idea where to start, like you don't use AI at all, here's my recommended stack. For CRM, I'd recommend ADIO, Research, Manus, Knowledge Base, Pinecone, Automation N8N, and for meetings, I'd recommend Fireflies. But what you need isn't more software, it's a strategy. Something built around your unique workflow and revenue drivers. That's where real leverage is. Here's an example that may be a little bit close to home, but kind of what happens when we don't have these strategies. This is an email that landed in the CEO of Cloudflare's inbox. It says, "Hey, Matthew, we have a private equity firm interested in acquiring Cloudflare. Given their mandate, the opportunity is an excellent match. Would you be open to discussing this opportunity?" Now, we all know cold email, and it's kind of been relegated to a game of numbers, right? You send 10,000 emails, you get 50 responses. And this is just some of the artifacts of that status quo, right? For years, that's been the standard, just spinning the variables, changing the company name here, the title there. But the results are subpar, right? AI is here and Spintax is dead. A couple weeks ago, Lewis came to me with an email and says, "Hi, Lewis, I've been on the lookout for an M&A firm, and I saw that you have over 20 years of average experience in investment banking and private equity. I've also noticed that you have a few deal makers, so I'm assuming that deal flow is always top of mind. We built a deal flow engine for Boston M&A, generating pre-qualified off-market sellers match their mandate with no manual work required. If we could generate and book qualified seller meetings for your team, would that be worth a look?" Now, this is a great email, and it resounded with Lewis because he said this was catered towards me. And the question that we asked ourselves was, can we automate emails like this? Can we create a system that does deep research, understands the context, and crafts a genuinely personalized outreach email at scale? Answer was, we did. And here is the pipeline that we built. First, we built an undetectable, best-in-class pitch book scraper that automatically extracts mandate information. Secondly, we vectorize that mandate information in a proprietary vector database. This allows us to create a searchable knowledge base that enables semantic matching at massive scale. Third, our AI agent stack. We have a research agent that does deep company analysis over all of the scale of a particular lead, and a matching agent that uses hybrid semantic search with the aforementioned vector database, and an automated lead to investor matcher that pairs the prospects based on the actual mandates and criteria and previous deals. Fourth, the custom email model, which was a in-house generated model trained specifically on hundreds of successful correspondence between different deals on different campaigns that can now generate perfectly crafted, personalized email that are indistinguishable from human written outreach. The beautiful part is that all of this happens in parallel. And so what we can do is generate thousands of emails with the quality of the second email in minutes. What used to take like 2 to 3 hours of manual research for a single email, we can do in 2 to 3 seconds. And that's what's possible when you start looking at some of the most established assumptions that we take for fact, and we challenge them through an AI-first framework. The results speak for themselves. If you have bad Spintax, some approaches get you like 0.5 to 1% response rate, if you're lucky. Our personalization delivered 13 times higher reply rates, longer lasting infrastructure, and a 99% time savings on research time. We didn't just improve the emails, we revolutionized the entire process from research to delivery. And if this is just one example of what becomes possible when you stop accepting the status quo and you start building systems that actually work. This is only a single feature in the AI infrastructure that we've been able to build between us. Lewis understands how crucial automation is. So he calls me like probably twice a day with some new requests on, hey, can we automate this? Can we build this? And the answer is always yes, right? So from AI voice cloning to completely trained agents on all of his calls and content, we're always trying to push the envelope on how we can further optimize and automate with AI. Let me talk to you guys a little bit more about the AI first framework. The first thing that you need to do is map everything you do into 3 buckets. What directly makes you money? what support's making money, and what's just overhead. You have to be ruthless here. Otherwise, you're going to set yourself up for failure in the next steps. Second, look for patterns. What gets repeated constantly? What follows the same decision process every time? And what requires the same research repeatedly? Step 3, you guys already know the things that need automating. It's everything that you hired your VAs to do. But instead of VAs, what system could we build to eradicate human error immediately? Now, we all love VAs and it's great, and we might think it's cheap, right? But you're paying somebody $1,500 to $3,000 a month for some who might lose you a $50,000 deal because they sent the wrong follow-up or they butchered a client name. You think that you're saving money here, but this is the opportunity cost of using a worse solution. Instead of investing the time, investing the money, and building an AI automated scenario. The learning curve, right? So next steps. We've talked about the AI first framework. So what do you need to do to ensure that you're ahead of the game in AI? First thing you need to do is learn natural language processing. Second, reinforcement learning. Then prompt engineering, automation frameworks, retrieval augmented generation, vector databases, and model fine tuning and deployment. Or you could just hire somebody to do it for you, right? So then we talk about where do we find this talent, and build by our partner. So there are 3 options here. And to be honest, like, this stuff changes every 3 weeks. You're entirely welcome. And I actually recommend that everybody reads up and becomes more familiar with AI. But the problem is, if this isn't your competitive advantage, then you don't want to spend your time working on upskilling in AI, like development, when you could hire somebody who could do it and you could be making money way faster, right? So if you want, you can build in-house. In-house is a little bit expensive and slow because you have to find good AI talent, which is hard enough as it is because you guys aren't developers, which could cost you upwards of $200K for an in-house developer and takes months to hire and then train and make sure that they're actually delivering. You could do freelancers because freelancers are cheap, but they need exact instructions, right? So you need to spend your time understanding your problems and then delivering the solution to them so they can build it. So it's cheap, but the expertise is inconsistent and you have high maintenance. Or you can go with an agency like the one that I have, which is more expensive, but the speed is fast, the expertise is expert, and you have more consistent results. So what happens when we actually get this right? And these are numbers that we've actually seen from some of our clients. 50% reduction in admin hours, 3 times pipeline capacity. And when I talk about pipeline capacity, I mean the ability to handle more clients, right? So what we want to do is put more people in our pipeline so we can have like obviously more revenue generation, but your pipeline can only fit as much as your operations and your systems can handle. So maximizing your pipeline capacity is a real deliverable that we see here when you start automating with AI. 25% increase close rate, and then 100% time redistribution, as in all of your staff members being able to redistribute their time onto things that actually matter, which shortens your sales cycles and makes you more money eventually. So don't just think of AI automation as a way to save time, but also as a way to generate revenue. So your next steps. So my recommendation is you start auditing your workflows, right? You find where is the operational drag, find quick wins, what's repetitive, high volume, map your system integration, what's not talking to what. Get all of your systems down on one page and understand, where do I have systems that aren't communicating with each other? Every system should be talking to another system or to a centralized system, as we do here at DevCore. And then choose your approach on whether you want to do it yourself, partner, or find freelancers. To tell you guys a little bit about DevCore, my company, that's exactly what we do. We audit workflows, build custom AIs, manage the back end, evolve and scale. If you want to talk to me more about it, like, we can later. But if you're looking for a fast option for being able to really get in there and see what your business could become with better automation, then you know where to find me. So, like, the closing statements that I'll leave you guys with is, AI isn't like a future thing, a lot of you are already seeing it in everything. Jack was just talking about how every single investor or pitch or something is talking about AI. They're trying to toss it in your face everywhere, right? And it's not going away. So those who use it properly are going to crush the competition. It's not just about using it, it's about making sure that AI has an impactful role in your organization. And so following these steps, using an AI first framework and executing on that will help you win. That's it. Oh, sorry. Questions? Yeah.
Sure. So are you what's your email delivery vehicle? Like are you still able to tie into SparkLead or Instantly, or are you using something else?
Yeah, so the whole system is built custom code. So we actually, being as maybe most of you guys don't know, but I built Artemis. Like we can do the email deliverability or delivery from our system, but we can also just generate these emails and put them in a spreadsheet or put them in some sort of cache for them to be sent out to the leads. So you can still use Instantly, still use Smart Leads, still use Email Bison, whatever tools you already use. Any other questions? Cool.
Yeah, how are you drafting up the personalized emails? Are you do you have custom templates, and then the AI agents recognize which template matches the which potential lead, and then it's redrafting the template?
Yeah. So it's not so much templates, right? The idea is to move farther away from templates and more into like completely customized email. However, what we want to do is we want to reference like winning campaigns in the past. So like I was talking about that vector database, it essentially, and I don't want to get too much into the weeds, but it stores the essence of what a correspondence was. And then when the AI is looking for emails or looking for historical correspondence that matches maybe this customer profile, it pulls up the most relevant emails and then builds an email based on that type, on those correspondence, right? It takes the information from the research, it takes the information from the previous, and then there's a separate agent that is designed to put them together that has also been trained and fine-tuned on successful email strategy.
You mentioned inbox management with AI.
Mm-hmm.
So is that like fully automating back and forth to a book meeting? What type of?
Yeah, so if you're familiar with the autoresponder, somebody like an agent that is just built into your email marketing system that reads all of the responses and responds back. There are dozens of ways that you can do this, but generally ours is built in-house with custom code, and so it responds with that same exact email agent that we fine-tuned.
So so you're building this for Lewis. Are you and you built Artemis? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You. So are you? So we all are looking for pretty much the same system, and it would be easier for most of us to adopt what you built from a cookie cutter point of view than to build something custom for each one of us. Is that something that you and Lewis have discussed?
So Lewis and I have discussed a bunch of different ways of operationalizing something like this, and that's definitely a consideration. What I recommend though is, even though it might seem like a cookie cutter approach would be the best here since you're running similar operations, every organization has a different, I guess you could say, tone. I guess would be the best way to do it, right? So
That's but that you can customize. That's a very small portion of the entire amount of automation and work goes into.
So not actually. As I was talking about, one of the fundamental components of this system is embedding all of your previous historical winning campaigns and understanding what makes your organization different, right? So maybe things that work for Lewis's organization wouldn't work for yours. And we can understand that through seeing empirical evidence of success. And so that's why of course we could do a cookie cutter situation. It would still deliver way better than a current solution, but a custom built solution is always going to win. And that was just an example of one sort of custom solutions. Like the infrastructure that we've have with Lewis, there's so many other like things that maybe I'm not at liberty to speak about, but it's just one example. Huh?
To talk about it all. Like one thing I want to mention is, I think that with the current iteration of what we have, it's not quite where it would need to be in order to give access to everyone. But definitely that is what the planks. Like once it's all built out and it's going to be indistinguishable for each use case, then we can roll it out to everyone. But the same way that we created 5 different angles for copy and everyone using the same angles and they're all spin text, and people don't, same way that the efficacy of what we've done has diminished because so many people are using it. Same thing would happen, even if it's customized, if all of us started using the same system.
But you can deliver it with an empty container. Like I use LM Notebook and Perplexity Space, and that's basically what you're talking about when you're talking about the siloed empirical evidence of previous success. And so, but the framework is the truest.
Yes.
And then each of us would be responsible for filling up our own buckets of what makes each of us unique and reflex.
So I mean, yeah, like you were saying, I think that this is a solution that would work as a cookie cutter. I'm not saying that it wouldn't. I'm just like reiterating that custom is always better. Though, if we were to roll this out as is, you could just come and we could build a workflow that embeds all of your content, a pipeline for that, and then it creates your own tone or creates your own database. So
I think that we should be ready to roll something out, I'd say by July.
I don't see why we wouldn't be able to.
So that's the time frame that we're looking at it. And we have this. We haven't used it yet because we're just sitting on it. But it's not quite where it needs to be in terms of like the infrastructure for us to roll it out or whatever. But that is what the idea is. Like in the next few weeks, we will have something that will be.
And you and I talk. I mean, this is a subsection of a greater.
Yeah.
And I think we all understand that because we all know what we're up to, and each one of us can probably see 4 or 5 other areas where this type of automate could be utilized. And Lewis and I talked about that last night. But certainly this is a core competency that if you could roll it out and distribute it, and that in a way that each of us could make it unique in the areas where we need to, I think that would be hugely valuable to this group.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think we've seen that value, and that's, we'll be talking more about like the actual product going forward. But yeah, I absolutely agree with you.
And thank you, Lewis.
Of course, Shabla.
One question is
Lewis? Like long term, like you guys know this. I've talked about this. Like we're likely gonna close the education component of Dealmaker. Like I would be surprised if we leave Alias without shutting any doors on it. But what this will end up becoming is a platform. So like all the systems, the whole protocol can all be put into a platform. So all the customization, all the data, all the automation, all of this will be put into like the Dealmaker platform, the SaaS. You guys will beta it. We'll get feedback from all of you guys. It's basically all of our systems that we use, but in one platform. Like email, the data, like the whole thing, all here, front to back. And the idea would be we onboard industry nuts. So we onboard PE, we onboard IV, right? So that's kind of what the long-term vision is. Like the next 2-3 years for Dealmaker. We're not going to be an education company forever. It's like you guys are in, doors are shut. You guys are going to be beta users of this thing. We're going to make it the best thing on the market. And then obviously like when we're ready, we'll roll this out to the industry. But that's kind of what the long-term vision is. It's like all of like the siloed pieces of what we do. It's like all going to be put into one platform, one cohesive platform. Yeah.
Yeah, so with all these AI use cases, like inbox management, personalizing emails, I think we're all wondering if you get a VA to do that versus an AI. Sure, the VA may cost more time, but does the AI deteriorate the results? Or you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean that's a great question. Like being able to score the results of an AI and having a human in the loop is one of the core pillars of developing with AI and deploying AI solutions, right? So it's all about like the architecture that you decide to go with. If you build a self-learning system that is able to see when it's succeeded and programmatically change itself to see what, I guess it's almost like reinforcement learning, see where it has positives and where it has negatives. That's how we can prevent something like that from deterioration from happening. The point on VAs that I'm trying to make is not necessarily that it's more time consuming. Obviously, it's more time consuming, but it's not. It's more so the um costs of not going with the right solution in the first place, right? Because a lot of times sales is about the right timing, and if we use the wrong solution at the wrong time, we could have messed up a massive deal, right? I don't think that anybody can really argue that like their VAs are like instrumental in having closed a particular deal, right? You can do that with AI. That's kind of where I'm at from there.
Have you tested like when you'd use like an inbox manager AI versus a VA? Have you seen like the numbers drop from like booking rate percentage? Have you done any tests like that?
We haven't done any particular tests like for booking rates, but I've seen a lot, like there are a lot of people who have built the system from scratch without having used VAs in the first place, and they're doing well, So a lot of like people who are still using inbox managers have a very like embedded solution for their inbox management system, and it takes a little bit of a bigger lift and shift. But as
Just to chime in there, inbox managers are a nightmare to train.
yeah.
No, like they're if you get what you pay for,
Yeah.
and you end up spending so much time training them, and then they end up just getting cycled out.
You know what I did? Actually, thinking back to when I brought our team on, which we don't even have them anymore because we're rolling this stuff up. But I did let them touch an email for like a month and a half. Like I paid them and I told them to just watch what's happening. And I made videos on everything that I was doing. I did that. I managed it myself for a month and a half. Open. And then it was clear. They knew exactly what they needed to do. So if you bring along or if you're having difficulty with them, that's what I would recommend to do. Yeah. Like however you would naturally respond. The other thing is you just teach them how to use GPT. Hey, you are an investment banking analyst. Please respond to emails that you were blah, 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 Yeah.
So, one thing I'm doing right now is I've been running campaigns on instantly. I've been doing a lot of my campaigns on ADIO as well as doing like LinkedIn, adding tasks and that sort of stuff. Would you recommend to do like, let's say we bring on a client and we're doing outreach to like SBICs, fund of funds, etc. You recommend we do that via instantly, and then let's say we have a contact that's interested, then adding that contact or creating automation that automatically adds that CSV, etc. into ADIO. Because right now I'm just doing it all manual there. And that's like a task that I think creating the contact parts. I mean, you get to add the company, get to add the email, the contact name. And then even then, sometimes it doesn't populate correctly. What do you advise that I or others in this group do in order to streamline that?
Yeah, I generally recommend ADIO. Now, we've only recently switched some people over to Instantly, so I'm not completely familiar with like their ability to like execute workflows. But one of the best things about ADIO is the workflows, and that it can be extensible to any other system that you've built. And so whether that's Make, Zapier, or whatever, you can, if you're already running your campaigns, and I've never done email campaigns from ADIO. I know that it's like they're capable of doing that. But if you're running your
Yeah.
you ADIO.
Yeah. Raj.
So that'd be good. The only issue, one of the issues though, is you have to upload your inbox. Like, what's it usually Outlook? Like, I'm using my primary domain, my primary Touch handle. Is one thing like I was asking too is if there's any way that we could upload email handles and email inboxes into ADIO. So as opposed, because right now you can only send every 5 minutes, so you're maxed out at 60 per email. And so there's any way that we could potentially add more inboxes. But then again, I don't know if ADIO is wanting to do that because I don't know if their systems. It's a CRM.
Yeah, it's not really like outreach.
Yeah, I'm not like I don't think it's necessarily designed like for especially like cold email outreach where we're doing just massive volume and like the current meta is we're using like tens of thousands of inboxes. Like I'm not sure that ADIO is really positioned that way. But you can always build a custom flow to take your information from ADIO and then put it into one thing that Instantly does have is a really good API. And so you can add the content from your ADIO workflows into the Instantly system and run your campaign from there. We only have limited experience using Instantly, but I know the efficacy of ADIO's workflows is really good. So I hope that answers your question. Yeah. Anybody else?
Do you think there's a way to sort between colder investor leads that you would have made contact with through Smart Lead or Instantly Outreach versus the ones you have in ADIO? So you can put weightings on and get by this to which ones are stronger to actually get a feel funded.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. We always approach things from a very like custom angle. So the like straightforward answer to your question is yes. You can absolutely weight things and sort them differently. Getting your contacts out of Smart Lead and your like emails out of Smart Lead is actually a bitch. Sorry for the language, but we've been trying to lift and shift for the last week or so. But I think that's a great idea and a great opportunity for automation and AI.
Have you tried use Fireflies?
Yeah, Fireflies is
Message information usability data is where you prompt the models. Say which investor is best for this deal.
I've built a model for Lewis based on all of his Fireflies information. And there's a pipeline now that takes it from like any new data that gets into Fireflies and goes into the model. And right now it's just being used as a agent to like chat to, but that's absolutely something that we could embed or we could integrate into like a centralized like email system.
Wow, I've seen some amazing work. A presentation is fantastic. I just have one real question. Are you yourself AI?
2 years ago, I built a company called GP Twin, which was based on trying to clone yourself with AI. I wasn't successful. So as of right now, I'm still flesh and blood. But yeah, thank you guys. If there's nothing else, I appreciate it.